Hello, and welcome to a brand new season of the Weekly Song Podcast, episode 177, season we've lost count. We genuinely cannot remember. Yep. If you, it gives you a level of the quality to expect from us. If you're new to the show, myself, Declan, and my beautiful co-host Roger.
Roger, yes, hello.
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 Each write a song within a week, and then we bring it to the podcast and discuss what went into writing it, and any sort of influence, anything interesting about it, and generally have quite a lovely time talking about each other's songs. Roger, how are you?
I'm good. Coming to you live from my flat. Second season here in the flat.
I know, you've not been kicked out yet.
I know, I've actually been able to pay my rent for 7 or 8 months.
We're doing really well. We're not doing really well.
Not from the podcast, I will say. Not from the podcast.
No, we've both gone off the corporate ladder somewhat. We haven't.
No, we are if anything, we're on the bottom rung of the corporate ladder.
We are the bottom rung of society. We're musicians.
But yeah, I mean...
What's the phrase? Start as you mean to go on.
This is our, like I say, second season in this place, and we've made some technical improvements.
Yes, we've got mics, so hopefully you're not getting so much of the room. I mean, a little bit of room echo is nice, but also it did sound like we were in the Albert Hall.
I don't know if you can tell from watching the podcast. You probably can, because it's a slick operation. We've got a curtain and everything. But the rest of the room that you can't see is my living room, which is a comically cavernous space.
It's made up for by the fact that the rest of his place is absolutely tiny.
It's like that Futurama thing where Fry goes to live with Bender and
like
they discover there's that giant cupboard. Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch Futurama again.
Oh, me too. Those first 8 seasons, magic.
Yeah. Anyway, so we take it in turns as to who goes first each time, and this time it is you.
Got to be one of us. Yeah, it's me. That's right.
So, this is going to be later in the season, a bit of a challenge season, as in, like, we have to write songs to a specific brief. Week 1, we decided we just wanted to write some songs. So, no challenge this time. So, this is just sprung forth from your mind. What you wanted to do, this is just entirely you.
Yep.
What have you got for us?
Well, can you guess what instrument I'm going to play?
Are you going to play the banjo?
I wish I could have and play a banjo.
I'll tell you what, Banjo Lady.
Oh,
that'd be
is that
so
the thing
good.
that Brian May plays?
Yeah.
Good Company.
Yeah, and bring back that Leroy Brown.
Oh, I love those 2 songs. They're so
good.
Yeah, but no, unfortunately not. And also, I realised I'm like, guess which instrument I'm playing? It's like a visual gag. Sorry, audio listeners. I have a piano in front of me. But
you now understand the joke.
Yes. And wasn't it hilarious?
And everybody laughed.
It was knee slapping. So yeah, I wrote a song on the piano. It's got a working title at the moment. It's not probably the title's probably going to change if I do something with it. Right now, it's called Conveyor Song, like conveyor belt.
Ooh. Well, let's see what this song conveys.
Ooh. I like it. I could try to boil the ocean, clear the desert sands, but I can hardly bargain with these shekels in my hands. And for some reason, certain seasons never seem to change. You slay the demon just to see another fill his place. Maybe someone's watching every time you sow your seeds, or cursing from a future where there's nothing more to eat. Sometimes I could swear that that's an older part of me. Won't somebody tell me how to trim these putrid leaves? 'Cause every time I cut them back, they multiply in 3s. There's something in these chains I see, that may contain the key. I I could try to paint the skies in purple shades and blue, or tell the birds to sing the words to all my favorite tunes. But I can't even count the times I've slept away my days, or give you proof of all the times I tried 1,000 ways. There's something in these chains I see, that maybe has the key.
So that was Roger's song, Conveyor song, first of the new season. And I really quite like that. That's quite unusual. It doesn't sound like your usual kind of sort of thing that you would write. I love that very mechanical motion of the main riff. Like the gives a sort of very... What's the word I'm looking for? Almost like just something plodding along, like an automaton or something.
Yeah, it kind of like, it has a strong atmosphere to it, even just from those first two chords.
It's like, hello.
Which is what made me want to pursue it. One lyric came first, and I had a lyric for like 6 days.
Ooh.
Which was, try to boil the ocean.
What a great first line.
It's great, isn't it? Have you ever heard that before? You tried to boil the ocean.
Would you just be left with a load of salt?
I guess you would. I never thought about that.
No, I've not heard it before.
I hadn't heard it until before the other week, but I guess it's a phrase some people know or say.
If you have used that phrase before, please comment below.
And if you came up with the phrase, then do write in to weeklysongpodcast@gmail.com and let us know, and you'll get a prize. You'll get a Kit Kat. But anyway,
you won't get this Kit Kat. This is mine.
You can have mine though, or at least a finger of it. Great.
You can tell it's been a while since we did the last season.
I mean, this isn't too different from the last season. But yeah, so I mean, you know this because we're friends and stuff and blah blah blah. But
it's news to me.
But I edit podcasts for work, and so which is really great for just hearing bits of conversation, because I just listen to people's conversations all day long. It's like a passive listener.
Well, you kind of like using like found words and sort of sentences to start off songwriting, and like key common phrases or like twisting things like that. So something like that to sort of start off with, I can see why that would stick in your mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I keep a little mental list in my head, and when I heard, someone was talking about trying to do the impossible essentially, and it's like trying to boil the ocean, and I thought, what a great phrase. So I thought that's got to be the first, and this was in the week we were writing, and I thought this has got to be the first line in the song, or in the song somewhere. Initially I kind of pictured like a kind of country-ish type of song, which was like, so like,
I went
try to boil the ocean, that sort of thing, something like that. But I just had the lyric floating around. I couldn't come up with anything on the guitar for it because I was trying on guitar for ages. And then one night I just like Saturday night or something, and we finished on Sunday. I just sat down at the piano and I was just like, A minor, A flat minor.
Because I was wondering, were you going between A minor and A flat, or A minor and A flat minor? Because it's going between the two minors as opposed to like minor and the major.
That's right, yeah. But it does have that sort of weird. It always makes me think of like sci-fi when you go, not that, but when you go minor major.
Because it's kind of like a little uneasy.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a what's going on sort of thing, a kind of like a spectacle. But no, this one is A minor, A flat minor. So immediately you're going non-diatonic.
Yeah.
And then I thought, how can I fit my lyric to that? And it fits quite easily. I could try to boil the ocean. And I was like...
It's like repeating that downward spiral.
Yeah, yes. And
I could try to boil the ocean.
Yeah, and it has like this kind of like, in my mind... It's like this kind of, the music at least is like a descent into hell sort of thing. It's like this weird, like I can picture goblins doing all sorts of sordid crap,
I don't want that as the title, please.
Don't worry, there's still another 50 minutes left of the podcast. There's plenty of time. But like I was trying to think, okay, so you're trying to boil the ocean. What else is impossible? I was trying to think, okay, this is to sweep the desert of all its sand till it's completely bare. That's another thing that's gargantuan that you can't do, right?
Not with that attitude.
Not true. Yeah, I should really be more optimistic about these things.
There we go. That's the ethos of the podcast in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, but like, I've had this before, and you've heard me say this multiple times, but like, I have an opening line, but what does that mean? What does it actually pertain to? It's all well and good to go like, oh, this is, you can't achieve the impossible. But what, for me, as the person or the narrator, even if it's not about me, but as something I'm singing about, what is impossible? And I suppose the whole song is generally about like changing your habits, which it's not the first time I've written about that, but you're kind of stuck within a certain like routine, and habits repeat themselves all the time. So it's like trying to change that. So then you get to the sort of the bridge, whose chords I'd love to talk about because they were a surprise to me.
Well, good news, you're on a podcast where you talk about your own songwriting. You can talk about those chords all that you like.
What luck.
It's a good thing we happen to do this by accident every week.
I know, all the cameras and lights and everything is great.
I know.
But then I go, and this was maybe the next lyric which really popped out at me was, for some reason, certain seasons never seem to change. So you got some alliteration in there.
For some reason, certain seasons never seem to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an internal rhyme.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons the song took so long to complete lyrically is making sure there's internal rhymes and there was alliteration in certain bits and stuff like that. But then it's like you slay the demon just to see another fill his place. So it's open-ended enough that it's not just about me, and basically the reason is I have this piano usually in my room, in my bedroom, and my bedroom's a tip. It still is, but it was better now than it was when I wrote this song. And I was just looking around the room thinking like, why don't I tidy up this place?
So this is just like the perfect song for like mum and dad trying to get their kid.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Listen to this, little Timmy. And your room will always be clean after this.
Little Timmy, clean your room or I will have your hide. You don't want to make me put your hamster outside. That's really dark. I would never put my child's hamster outdoors.
Wait, have you got a child called Timmy?
Yes, and here he is! Go back to bed, Timmy. It's past your bedtime.
Oh dear. Right.
Anyway,
the song.
The song. Yes, I will try to keep this short. So anyway, lyrically talking about the impossible, trying to break habits, tidy your room, that sort of thing. It could be applicable to any habit. But then when you get to that point, you kind of introduce some lighter chords. So, and they're all 7-ish chords, right? So 7 chords. So major chord, for example, being C major, C, E, G.
Isn't that lovely?
And then you take the 7th degree of that scale and you add a B.
Oh, that's a C major 7.
C major 7, sorry.
Yeah,
C major 7. But then there's 7s which is flattening that 7.
Exactly.
And then you have minor 7s, which is like you have a D minor, and then you add a C to that.
And it goes from being sad to being melancholy, which is a subtle shift.
And I have really gotten into 7 chords in general, whether minor or major, because I've been listening to a lot of Todd Rundgren, which hasn't changed since last season. But
Yes, he's still listening to Todd Rundgren.
there was this interview with him where he talks about his song "A Dream Goes On Forever," which I can't play, but he was going through the chords of it, and he said like what he'll often do is he'll use a lot of those minor 7 chords mixed with major 7. And
it gives a real floaty feel, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. The way I do it on piano though is I'll play, because you can kind of divide like a D minor 7 up into a D minor and an F major, sort of, because they share the same notes.
We might be returning to something similar in my song.
Oh really?
A similar concept.
Okay. So what I do is I play the tonic and the 5th of the D minor for the D minor 7 in my left hand, D and A, and I just play an F major on top of that. So essentially this section goes D minor 7, E minor 7, C major 7, and then it goes to this chord here, which is an E minor over A, I believe, which I just love that chord. It's like a Alicia Keys or something. I don't know.
It sounds very classy. I don't think we can afford this level of class.
All right,
You're gonna have to dumb down your chords. 1, 4, and 5.
in this economy, it's got to just be an A minor then, okay? So yeah, those are essentially the chords that I liked about that part. And that's kind of all the chords. He said, hurry along because he realizes his camera only has 12 minutes memory. And yeah, essentially the rest of the song is just kind of filling in. So that was kind of me going, I think I have a song now. The rest of it was just sitting here on a chair, just like with a pen and paper, writing down, okay, what else is there? So we got things like in the third verse, which I quite like. I could try to paint the skies in purple shades of blue, which is again trying the impossible. Or tell the birds to sing the words to all my favorite tunes. Again, some
That's a
rhymes.
great line.
Thank you. But I can't even count the times I've slept away my days, which I'm a late sleeper.
Aren't we all? We're creatives, darling.
God. Yeah. Anyway, and or give you proof of all the times I've tried 1,000 ways. So it's just basically trying to paint a general poetic picture of like trying to do better, essentially.
I mean, it captures that vibe very well. But I kind of like when you get to sort of the chorus and the bridge and all of those parts, how you start to get a bit back into your normal singer-songwriter chords, and then they sort of start going in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
Like, because you've got that very atypical sort of thing at the beginning, and then you sort of feel like you're a bit more on home ground, except actually we're going like up instead of down, or we're doing it. Like, it's a very interesting thing. I'd love to see how you would translate this to a record.
I think it would just be kind of one of those like just piano and vocal songs, maybe with a theremin or something.
I think you could do some very interesting things if you sort of like maybe recorded your vocal with a piano, took the piano out, and then sort of put in loads of synths and loads of like found sounds, trying to sort of replicate the rhythms and tones of the piano.
Found sounds? That's a good idea.
So if you see Roger going around your local town with a microphone, like recording, I don't know, bus stops or coin meters or the pavement, you know exactly what he's doing.
That's right, gives music concrete.
Those were the
meaning.
first 3 things I could think of. My imagination has dulled significantly. The pavement, that makes a sound.
I mean, I want to justify you here, but I can't think of a way to do it.
Don't try.
I want to try and validate you here. I want to yes and you, but no, yeah, I think that could be a really, really cool way to do it. Not my favorite song I've ever written, but it's a start to the season, you know?
It feels like it's got a specific story behind it, which obviously, it's got the whole thing of like trying to do the impossible, trying to change habits. But it sort of feels quite narrative driven, which is quite nice. I quite like that.
Yeah, I think it's always best if you have a song that's like just about a nebulous thing, a topic in someone's life or your own life, to kind of like give some hints of, it has a story to it, even if it just absolutely doesn't, like this one. Just little details which make you think like, there's maybe a bit more depth to it than just like, I can't do the things I'd like to do most of the time, that sort of thing. Like, you can actually like weave some details in there. So yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a strong start to the season, and it's an unusual start to the season, which I appreciate.
Well, that's my first song for the season. Moving on, Declan, you're bringing your first song to the season. I believe you're on piano too, so we'll be swapping places in a sec.
It's weird. This never happens.
Yeah, you texted me earlier, being like, by the way, my song's on piano this week. I was like, yeah, me too. And I thought it was weird that I had one on piano, but we both do?
Yes, it's very strange. My first song this season is called All the Way Down. And if I can remember how to play it, it might go something like this. It's easy to feel that I've wanted before. I really don't need it, but always come back for more. All I know is I gotta go, all I know is I've gotta go out of my head, out of my mind, out of my head every time. I've tried to resist it, but never succeed. It finds the right moment, offers me all I need. All I know is I gotta go, all I know is I gotta go out of my head, out of my mind, out of my head. As everything moves up above, you find me all the way down. Always the same, and I see and distorted the world. Still I am all the way down, all the way down.
Okay, so that was All the Way Down, Declan's first song for this new season of the Weekly Song Podcast, and it got me all the way down to the core of my heart because I really like that so much.
Oh, bless you.
This is an insanely complicated and moving song. I mean, forget the vocals even, just the piano itself is like a classical piano piece.
Which is why I made so many mistakes.
Well, the audience doesn't need to know that. It's just one take through. No, honestly.
It's entirely one take. We did no editing whatsoever.
Declan has like a 3 inches longer of beard in the second half. No, that was fantastic.
We filmed them 3 years apart.
I think I'm ready now. No, that was fantastic. So tell us about it. How did this come about?
It came about just by mucking about on the piano, would you believe? I like playing in B flat. It's a fun one to play in. Loads of Queen songs are in B flat, but it's like... So I was mucking about on the piano one night, and I came across this chord.
Ooh, very nice.
It feels like the first chord of Bohemian Rhapsody, doesn't it? Is this the real life?
Yes.
Don't know if it is or not. What it is it is a B flat with a G, but you're playing it D, F, G, B flat.
Oh, that's so unusual.
Because I think I would have been trying to do something like trying to do a walk down. So got that. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh.
And just like, I don't know how I got to that, and it's just like, okay, that's the song. So it's just expanding out from.
I love that. That's the song moment.
Yeah, because like that suddenly tells you everything of where you're going, which then obviously up to C, down to a seventh, and then down to an F. So essentially, if you are, this song is basically an F, but it starts on the 4 and it alternates between going 4, 5, 4, 1. So you end up with like the. Which part of the trick for this is trying to keep like weird chords in there, so that's why it goes like from that B flat 6 to a C7, and then B flat 6 to, I'm just literally playing F, G, and A.
It's like a cat could play that chord.
Yeah,
that could be a title. Sorry,
that could be a title. But yeah, it's just like very simple. But like pair it with that, and suddenly it's an F2, and like that sort of second time through the.
I love that walk down. There's so many nice like movements in the song. Like, I mean, moving up and down notes. Yeah,
it was sort of all put together with the piano before a vocal got on top of it. So I think it's quite clear in some points, like particularly with the like, because everything's going at the same thing. It's just like I can't really leave that blank. I don't think it's right to leave it blank and have no vocal on it, but also there's no other vocal that I think you could put on there.
It has to be the Black Sabbath thing of having the vocal do the same thing as that. Can I just say though, Duel of the Fates. Dun, 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 dun. It's not the same, but it reminds me of it.
It's been too long since I played the piano. So the E flat stuff is like all sort of playing around with like walking the left hand down, and then the end of that, like we were saying before about having the bass note recontextualize the chord a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
The chord in the right hand should be F sharp diminished. So you end up with like a, and then because that ends up being the top 3 notes of a D7, it just.
That's such a great moment. Yeah. Yes.
I like going down there. That's fun.
Isn't it weird that
those
like
notes are fun?
The top part of a 7 chord without the tonic, it's just a diminished chord.
I know.
It's weird, isn't it?
You can cheat playing an F sharp diminished by just playing the top 3 strings of a D7 chord on the guitar.
Yes. Yeah. For that classic diminished run.
It's really cool. And then again, this is a song of just walk downs essentially. So you've got like
so many pretty bits. Sorry,
walking down on the bass, B flat, A flat with this sort of the DC B flat, a G, which would be the major 6, so it gives it a bit of a like old show tuney kind of feel, and then
it hits that augmented note, right?
Yes. I'm so glad you caught that. So like you have this sort of thing that's running. It's almost running down a C minor with an E flat in the bass, so it sounds like E flat. Because otherwise it would be doing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so instead of hitting that B flat, it's hitting that C.
And it creates an entirely different mood, just that one note, yeah.
And then up the F to augment it.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But it's what I love. So many cool things. What I love about that is it's not going, here's an augmented chord. It's just kind of, there it is, just a little flick.
Like, and here we are. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. I must admit, the first time you played that, because it comes across like 2 or 3 times maybe, first time you played it, I thought, oh, he's played a wrong note. And I thought, no, he's played an augmented chord, which is so cool.
Because it's taking the top of that F chord, C sharp, augmenting it, back to the D for the... and then the ending of the chorus does another one of those... and then...
What's that?
So it's a very minimal version of a C diminished. So instead of playing the full 3 notes... which would be C, E flat, and F sharp. I know that should be a G flat, but I like referring to it as an F sharp. Instead, I've got rid of that middle one, and it's just the C and the F sharp. So it ends up giving you that sort of minor 4 feeling as well. Like if you're doing like...
Good point.
So you end up with...
Such an interesting way to replace the minor plagal cadence with something that's diminished sounding, or is diminished.
Which it also just means I have to press 2 notes as opposed to any more. And then just the ending is kind of bolted on after the fact, because I got that part of the song sorted, got most of a tune figured out, and I thought, right, I haven't really got a way to end this. So it's an evening of like playing a chorus, then hunting for like the right sequence, which again is like mostly walking down a bass line. So you're going from G minor over F sharp, B flat over F, and then C sharp diminished, A diminished, to D.
This is mind-blowing stuff.
Because then you're like getting back there to the, you've got your first 2, and then F to C sharp, A to D. So like they're similar movements, but they're not quite the same. And then obviously because I'm a child, you go from doing this lovely pretty to doing...
Oh, that's so evil. And this is very much a song, and I think mine goes like this too. It can't be played on not piano. That's not a sentence. It has to be played on piano because of the way the voicings work, right?
I prepped a guitar version just in case, and it really doesn't sound the same.
Can I just say, not to take it back to mine, but I did the same because I thought this keyboard is always, it's been a liability in the past. I thought, oh, if Declan's coming, because I didn't know what your song was, I thought, let me try it on guitar, my song, and I thought, no, because those 7 chords and stuff, they don't work on anything but piano.
Well, because the way you play chords as well, you're playing like root and fifth, so like stuff like that is kind of lost if you're just doing like a D minor on guitar.
Yeah.
Or even if you're doing like an ordinary D minor 7 on piano.
Yeah, with piano things are spread, they're wider.
You've got more options for like putting notes in different orders.
And things like, like that cat chord, which is just F-A, F-G-A, right? That You know the cat chord?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know the cat chord.
That's going to be our terminology now. Any chord where like you just press 3 notes next to each other. Oh, it's a cat chord.
Cat chord. And then you've got the bass underneath that, which contextualizes, like, that is a piano
You can do that on guitar, but it's a lot more difficult.
thing. Yeah, you got to be one of these people who's, like, doing all the touching the guitar and stuff.
But, I mean, how else do you play a guitar?
I don't touch it.
Are you playing it with your mind?
I'm a Christian. I don't play it. I'm not really a Christian. No. I don't even know what that means. Something about being pure. Anyway, so you came up with all the music.
Yes.
Any ideas for lyrics while you were doing the music?
Yes, it's in the chorus. So I've had the do-do-do-do-do-do, all the way down.
I'm laughing because that's my experience this week of like, I have one lyric and it's like, okay, now time to fill in all the gaps.
Yeah, and it's just like I had that, and then like the chorus came together quite quickly after that. So you have as everything moves up above, like so. I was like,
yes,
you
yeah.
gotta start up, go to down. So like figure out a sentence, and then for some reason, and I see and distorted the world. I don't know where that came from, but that sort of jumped in there as well. So I knew that I had that, and then also I had a sort of feel for the first line, which in the original version was, "It's easy to see it." I had no idea what the second part was going to be, and it's modified to like to easy to feel it. But like I knew that's kind of like strong, so something's got to be easy to see or feel or do. So I had a sort of a structure of where to go, if that makes sense.
And enough lyrical context to make you think of things to say.
And build something out of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I built out of it was depression. This song is kind of just about, you know, those moments where you just feel a bit down and you don't really know how to connect and you sort of feel a bit lost and you sort of have a need to escape you can't fulfill because basically
you're stuck in you.
Yeah, you're stuck in you. So like no matter where you escape to, you could go on a lovely holiday, or you could go to the moon, or you could go to the seventh circle of hell, and you'd still feel the same because like you'd still be in the same persona, as it were.
Yeah.
So that's kind of because if the song's called All the Way Down, it's not going to be a happy clappy song, is it?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what the chorus ends up being, is everything moves up above, you'll find me all the way down. You feel like everything's happening up there.
It's like unreachable. It's up there, yeah.
Like, and you, like, I see undistorted the world, I sort of thought, okay, that makes sense. Because then that's like, even if you're rational, even if you know that everything is fine, and the problems that you face are really very small and very minor, and you are really a very lucky person, good luck telling your brain that.
Yes. You can go, I've got food to eat, I'm not in a war zone, blah, 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 but the internal feeling doesn't shift an iota. Exactly.
So that's kind of the bulk of the lyrics, where that comes from. And then I realised towards the end, obviously this is quite a minor sounding song, and it's, you know, it's not going to be overly joyous, but I realised, there's no sense of progression here, and there's no sense that anything will get better. So that's why at the end you've got, it's still like down in the deep, 10,000 fathoms below and all of that stuff. But you shift from saying like, you know, it's so dark that I struggle to see. It's like, no, but I am still struggling to see. And I will get up there. I'm not up there now, but I will get up there.
Yes. Oh, man.
It's very literal, this song.
Yeah.
It's very surface level. There is no deeper meaning.
But
I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
So, as we normally talk about after we've kind of showed each other our songs, we kind of generally talk about what we've been listening to. Is there kind of an album or a song or anything else that you've been that's really touched you? You know?
I've listened to a few bits and pieces. I haven't listened to as much as I normally have been. I've listened to the new Ezra Collective. I quite like that. But I think I've been on a bit of a War of the Worlds kick recently. For people who aren't aware, I have been doing another channel doing video essays on stuff I like, and I've been trying to think of something for War of the Worlds, so I've just been listening to the Jeff Wayne version for absolutely ages. And I recently remembered, oh, wait a minute, I I have streaming. I can listen to like the rest of the albums and things that are connected to it. So I've been listening to the remixes. Ula da Bula, I believe they're called.
Okay.
Yeah. So like some of them are kind of just like the songs with like dance beats and things put on them, but a lot of them are like properly kind of reworked and like very interesting sort of diversions into different like ways of experiencing everything, and it's difficult to sort of say what I like about it. I've mostly been listening to it at work when I can get away with it.
I can't imagine when that would be.
Just if I'm in an office and there's no one in there, it's just like put the Jeff Wayne on, turn it up, turn it down. The manager's coming.
Yeah.
But like it's like it really makes you focus on like certain parts of each of the songs and like which parts are like essential. Like there's versions of Horse Will Comment on the Heat Ray, which has that brilliant riff.
Oh yeah.
Which don't include it at all, but it still has a bit of the like flow of it. It's just like how that bit's foundational to it.
Yeah, why would you cut that bit out?
But then like they replace it with other stuff, and like there's versions of Thunderchild, which like try and alter the timing, which is really cool. Bits that sample. They did like a video game where they sort of used like depicted the Martians actually planning their invasion of Earth, so they used samples from that.
Oh, cool!
And put that on top of everything else. A few versions of Spirit of the Man. There are a few versions of like Eve of the War as well, so you're going to hear a lot of. Oh, sorry. All that sort of stuff.
Oh man.
But yeah, I've been nerding out about War of the Worlds recently, as you can tell by my failing to play. I was trying to work out the.
Oh.
Something like that.
You just made me want to hear a War of the Worlds piano concerto live in concert. That would be so cool.
It would be if the person playing the piano could play the songs properly. But yeah, I've been sort of deep diving into that a little bit, and yeah, I've really been enjoying hearing alternate versions of everything.
Recontextualizes stuff, don't it, when you hear remixes?
Exactly. Which I kind of have you ever heard the new generation version they did with Liam Neeson?
Oh no, I'm kidding. No, I can't say I have.
It's slightly disappointing.
Oh really?
Because it expands the text slightly, so I can absolutely see why they did that. And obviously it's to do with the live show, so they don't have to have this weird floating head of Richard Burton. They can actually just have video footage of Liam Neeson. But they just do not change up the track list and the instrumentation in any way, shape or form. In fact, I swear some like parts of it are just the original recordings with like synthesizers and things just put over the top. Which there are some bits that are changed and are cool, but not enough of them. Whereas I think Ula da Bula is really interesting in that it does actually take the chance to sort of change things up.
With Ula da Bula, is it like one producer remixing, and also when did it come out?
I think it came out around 2005. It's a load of different producers.
Oh, okay.
I think some of the songs are from the War of the Worlds video game, because they did loads of remixes for that.
Oh, right.
But then a few of them are also just, we're putting together a remix album, get a few producers, have a go at Spirit of Man.
Right.
Like, would anybody like to have a go at Red Weed?
Sure, if you're offering. But any like remixes I would know of, like any like
You're talking to the wrong person entirely.
Oh, okay.
There are no remixes that I would know of, and I've heard the thing.
Right, I see. It's always so cool hearing remixes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
especially when they like pull apart the stems and they use bits of the original stuff. I find.
Yeah, like it's like, as opposed to like a remix being just like, oh, we just put a drum beat on this, or we just put an extra synth on this, where they've actually taken it apart and put it together in a new way properly, i.e. remixed it. I think it's interesting.
Oh, that's so cool. Love it.
Yeah.
Love
also, you will get very sick of hearing
I mean, but what a one-shot sample. I want that spread across the whole sampler keyboard, so you go ooh.
There is one track on there which begins with, because obviously there are a couple of oohs throughout the record. Like there's the Artilleryman and the Fighting Machine one. There's the one on Spirit of Man where it's ooh, and it's much longer. And there's the sort of dying ones on Dead London. So it just samples all of them before going into.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Makes you want to do more remix stuff.
You should. You've done a fair few in your time. Like I listened to your remix of Clipping and the Beatles far too frequently.
It's kind of bad to say about yourself, but I'm more talking about the track. It's kind of a banger, but because of clipping, like there's something about like.
Also, like it does really go well on that.
Holler at your city if you ride for it, and let them know why you die for it. Oh man, for the listeners, it samples "Why Don't We Do It in the Road" from the White Album.
And work from Clipping.
Yeah, clipping with no vowels. Oh my god, I love.
It's so dumb. I love it.
It's so stupid. Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, you've done other things like I think Moxie is mostly remixes.
Yeah, that's mostly remixes. Yeah.
So it's like, is it Cream where you remix it with Sgt. Pepper's and Death on Two Legs?
Death on Two Legs. I think there's Miles Davis is in there maybe.
Yeah.
That's like a whole like. I went through this phase this was like years ago when I was like 20, 21, where I would be really into like mashups. So it would be like a bunch of different acapellas and a bunch of different samples of like the Beatles, Steely Dan, this, like Marilyn Manson, whatever. I've got this one on my YouTube that's like 21 song mashup, and it's just this insane cacophony. But I love that kind of remix stuff. Again, it's recontextualizing things, you know?
Exactly, and like it's not just like putting one vocal on another beat or something. It's actually like chopping it up and using certain bits, and like even on it's one of your ones. I think it's on Winter Tape 6. It samples "Gotta Get Up."
Harry Nilsson, yeah. With something rap. What is it? It's been such a long time since I even made it. We'll listen to it. Gotta get up, gotta get up, gotta get up before the morning. Yeah, that. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
Essentially, go to his Bandcamp.
Yeah,
they're still on there.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But what I love about remixing stuff is it's like, especially with rap stuff, which is like quite, because usually with hip hop, like it's just a beat that samples loops the same 1, 2, or 4 bars over and over and over again with a rapper, which is amazing and cool, and I love it. But like when you take like 99 Problems by Jay-Z and you put something that changes and it's does different sections underneath. It's
got the same basic beats, but it's got accents that are different and like rub in a different way against the vocal.
Or if certain chord changes that you might sample or put in make the lyrics kind of jump out at you in a different way that you wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of an emotional line when it has like an F minor underneath it or something.
Most things would be emotional with that underneath them.
I've got 99 problems, but a bit cheap one. I got the rap control and the back control. Yeah.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been listening to. Yeah. What about yourself? I think I know what the answer's going to be.
You may be surprised.
Ooh.
You may be surprised. You want to get those headphones on and get them cranked up because it's really going to help you with this one. That's a Todd Rundgren reference.
Yeah, I don't listen to much Todd Rundgren, I'm afraid.
But no, I mean, I have been listening to a lot of him, but the new thing I've been listening to is Leon Redbone.
I thought you were going to go with Doechii there.
Oh yeah, and Doechii, yeah. I'll go with Doechii instead. No, I mean, yeah, Doechii's great.
But Leon Redbone.
But Leon Redbone is the thing I have thoughts on. But now I'm thinking of Doechii. But anyway, Leon Redbone, 70s and 80s recording artist. Well, and through to like, I think he passed in like 2018. But just this, but he would do music from like the 30s, 40s era. His big like recognizable tune was like, lazy bones, lazing in the sun. How you gonna get your day's work done? You know that one?
I'm afraid not.
Fair. But like, it's all very kind of like, he's on acoustic guitar. He's got a mustache and sunglasses, and
it really comes across on the audio.
Yeah, he's got like this kind of like rumbly voice like this.
A bit of a drawl, bit of a
and like, but his musicality and humor just comes across in every song. Like he obviously doesn't take himself too seriously at all, but every tune is just so well recorded. And the cool thing about his albums as well, like it's not even one particular album I've been listening to. My dad got me into him because my dad doesn't have a record player anymore, so he's just like, here, have my old records. He's like, you'll love Leon Redbone. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, all right, Dad.
Leave it out. But no, I was very open to it. But like, when you got a stack of records, you don't kind of go through the entire stack all in one. So I kind of put it off for ages. I was cleaning the flat one day, and
Are you?
Yeah, it's a tip, right? It's funny talking about the room earlier. This room's nice. My bedroom is the tip. I don't know why that is. I guess I just don't spend much time in there.
By cleaning, you mean moving from the living room to your bedroom?
That's it. And but anyway, I thought, I put on a record as I'm going around like hoovering or whatever, tidying. Anyway, put on Leon Redbone, and I was like immediately hooked. And the cool thing with being hooked on his music is that once you enjoy one record, I wouldn't say they're all homogenous or like you get the same experience every time, but that like 80s syndrome that certain bands or artists get, where it's like they were cool in the 70s, but then their production changes to like do drums and like gated reverb and shit, and like you're just like, ugh. Like the songwriting's still good, but with him it's the opposite. It's like
when he enters the 80s, he goes back to recording on wax cylinders.
just screaming into a phonograph, and but like a lot of his arrangements are like him on acoustic guitar and vocal. You kind of get the impression he tracks them both at the same time. And then rather than bass on a lot of his songs, there is bass guitar here and there, but like he'll have like, I think it's like one of those big trombone's like the push and pull one, but like bass, contrabass. I think it's called contrabass.
Possibly.
Doing all those 1-5 things, all that kind of stuff.
There are only 2 buttons on it. 1, 5.
Yeah, you can only play in one key as well. Yeah. Take it away.
We don't know much about instruments that aren't pianos or guitars.
This is so true. And then he'll often have like a clarinet player like take solos, or like and that's kind of it. And like sometimes a drummer, but doing very, very minimal things, kind of like a little cocktail kit sort of thing.
So it's kind of like the logic is it's already dated, so therefore it won't age.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it allows the musicality to come across loads, where it's like the production, it's not leaning on the production, it's just leaning on the performance. And also it's just all those nice things, like he's a really big user of like taking the 1 chord and then going down to the major 6, so like C major down to A major. He does that like all the time, which, as you well know, I mean,
well, it's
I just
what we
love
were doing
it.
In the
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's in your song. So you've been listening to Leon Redbone too.
Have I?
But it's just that classic, like it's almost like an old vaudeville sound to me.
Bit musical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he does a lot of that, and so yeah, I've been listening to Leon Redbone, and it's had actually like a really big impact on me, because it's been like, it's just simple, straightforward, fun music. It's kind of lit something in me. So
fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing how it's influenced the rest of your songwriting throughout the rest of the season.
Well, I ripped him off entirely and wrote a song called Spine between seasons, and that song is basically just my Leon Redbone song. So,
well, fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the new season of the Weekly Song Podcast. This has been episode 177.
Season who knows?
Season who knows? 19?
Sounds about right.
Something like that. We've been doing it a long time, is basically the
God, wouldn't
the
it be terrible if this was season 20 and we'd completely forgotten and we missed some milestone?
Oh no, see, I can't even think about that. I can't even think about that.
Yeah. Gotta get through this recording and then we'll look up the season number.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out our music, Declan and I have a collaborative project together called Schnookums, SCHNOOKUMS. Try to say that a little slower, because I know that Declan has to animate those letters. Well, doesn't have to. He gets lashings if he doesn't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They will appear in time, sir. They will appear in time. The word will be spelled correctly.
And you can find Schnookums on all the streaming platforms you normally find music on: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, all those things. But also find us on schnookums.bandcamp.com if you want to support our music monetarily and also have a nice, good quality download of that.
WAV files are supreme.
While I remember as well, speaking of support, we have actually, just to kind of cover the costs of like running the podcast, if you enjoy what you're hearing, absolutely no obligation here, but if you do enjoy what you're hearing and you want to support the show, we now have a Ko-fi page, which is ko-fi, and you can go to ko-fi.com/weeklysongpodcast.
And you will get our coffee fixation sort of covered. We won't have to expend on this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And, coffee's expensive these days.
Yeah.
And, so feel free to do that. That is obviously in the show notes as well. So follow that link if you want to support the show, and we obviously would really appreciate that. You can also email the show at weeklysongpodcast@gmail.com. If you're listening on audio and you want to see us, then go to YouTube and search Weekly Song Podcast. We're all there.
And if you are watching us and you'd rather not see us, why not head to Spotify, SoundCloud, all the places you can find podcasts.
Yep, you didn't have to look at us there. Declan, where can people find you and your solo music online, or anything else you want to put out there?
So my music is available on Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, all the various things. Declan Kitchener. I can't remember the last thing I released, actually. What was the last thing I released?
Was it the 5 songs in a room with me?
Oh yeah, 4 songs I recorded, presented in reverse chronological order in the shed with Roger.
Great title.
It's something like that.
Rolls off the tongue.
Exactly. So yes, I haven't put anything out for a while. I am working on stuff. I keep saying this because I keep working on stuff. Hopefully at some point this year I might get some stuff released. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, I've been doing a couple of video essays on a different channel, DRK, because I like having things that no one can fucking Google. So yeah, if you're on YouTube and you fancy seeing me nerd out about Doctor Who, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Wallace and Gromit, go there. Roger.
Yes.
Where can people find your vast library of music, including some of the remixes that we were talking about earlier?
First of all, I really just want to endorse your music and your YouTube stuff, both of which are phenomenal and well worth checking out. You can find...
The 20 quid's coming in the post.
Thank you. You can find my stuff on rogerheathers.bandcamp.com is like the main place I show people to. Also Apple Music, Spotify. Just search Roger Heathers. I've got a bunch of albums out there. And...
it's a multi-camera setup. We've forgotten how to use it.
We've got about 30 seconds left of the podcast. I'm going to start using it loads. So also you can follow me on Instagram, and I'm also on Threads now as well. So make sure you follow me on there. I don't really post too much, but I'm starting to kind of get into that. And I'm also on YouTube. I've started posting studio updates. Sorry, future Declan. I've started posting studio updates of just like, here's me putting bass on a track. Here's me putting kazoo on a track. And that's like mostly on my YouTube. And
will there be a link to that in the show notes in the description?
If I remember to put it in there, for sure. No, yeah, of course, yeah. Links to all these things in the show note and the description. So, I think that's us.
I think that's us. Yeah.
I think that's So,
yeah, first episode back. We're both alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Great first episode back, I think.
Yeah. 2 great songs, and yeah.
And humble as well.
Yeah. We're the best. So we actually have a challenge for next week.
Oh yes. Yes.
A challenge we've already completed because due to the unique way that we do this podcast, we are running a week ahead of where we are. So we're writing week 3 right now.
Yes.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
It's kind of easier. It sounds more complicated, but it's kind of easier, I think.
You say this. We did have this massive scheduling thing the other day where neither of us knew what on earth was going on.
This is true. That's me and not being good at calendars. But yes, so our challenge that you'll be hearing next week when you tune into episode 178 is we are going to write a song in the third person. Ooh. So no saying I. Right?
Yes.
I had to when I was writing. Again, full disclosure, we have written this song. When I was doing it, we'll talk about this next week. But I had to Google like, is this song like that I've written it? Is it in the first person at all?
Oh shoot! I've written it in the second person. Ah!
You are doing this. You are doing that. But yeah, so tune in for that. And we got, like you said, challenges for the rest of the season going forward as well. And some spicy guests in the works too.
Spicy guests.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Indeed. Well, in that case,
I don't know what
to look forward to. And we'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra!